Yo, yo, yo. Hey, it's the Draft Nerds coming to you live. My boy Jay is live at the Senior Bowl, so he's been there all week. So he got all the intel, all the background information that you need to know on this year's prospects. As you can see, Javon is still basking in the glory of an AFC Championship win and another Super Bowl appearance. He's just going to show us his profile, and then and so we're here and we're excited to talk about draft. This is the year we really shine. This is our time. Literally, it's in the name, Draft Nerds, right? So this is our expertise. This is what we do, and we're just glad that you guys can join us. And yeah, man, we're gonna have a full first round mock draft. We've broken up the teams. Each of us have a different division and different teams, and we'll go through this mock draft. And I hope you guys just enjoy what we're doing, and let us be your guide to the 2024 NFL Draft. Jay, how is it at the Senior Bowl? Start with you.
Man, it's been really fun getting to meet a lot of the people that I've known for quite a bit, for years now online. Uh, Met quite a few people from, of course, like NFL Network, ESPN, various different internet uh, resources and media. It's just been a lot of fun, on top of a few scouts here or there, getting some more sources. And on top of that, the players. Just some phenomenal interviews that I had to have with some players there. A lot of fun, a lot of really great young men who are just about to enter into the big show, the NFL. And I can't wait to follow along this pre-draft process and see how each of them progress.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Javon, talk to us, man. Another AFC Championship win, another Super Bowl appearance. What's it like? What's the buzz like in Chiefs Kingdom right now?
Man, hold on. I gotta put my blenders on, man. I gotta put my blenders on, dog. It's golden, baby. It's golden. Hey,
There
we
you
we
go. There you
we
go.
we we just do what we do. We continue to prove the haters wrong, and we continue to rise above. So,
Mhm.
hey, I'm done trying to convince you that we legit. I'm done trying to convince people to like us. Bob Costas called us America's team, and that's what we is now. We taking the top spot. Jerry Jones can have a cow all he want to. Hey, but we gonna enjoy it in Kansas City. I'm playing the villain role, and that's just the way it is. I'm done trying to convince people. Matt. I hope it's all right,
Hey
man.
man,
I got a little Crown Royal in my cup, man. Because the Kings are here, man. So crown me, crown the glass, crown everything, KC, baby.
hey man, look, you deserve to gloat. You deserve to sit there with your number 15 jersey with your background. You deserve it, bro, because this
I
this
know.
this
I know.
podcast started a long time ago, earlier in the year, and you've been saying we going back again. And there's been some weeks you came in here and even your confidence was a little shaken because you're like, man, we ain't playing the way we normally play. Guys dropping the ball, but you was like, hey, I trust Andy Reid and Mahomes are going to right the ship. They're going to fix it. They're going to get
Yep.
it figured out, and they
Yep.
did by beating my Ravens. I'm disappointed. I'm sad. It's another season where we're almost but no cigar. I was telling She Talks Football earlier. I was like, I feel like the Ravens are just like, you know, the Utah Jazz of the NFL from the 90s. The Utah Jazz was always in the finals. They was always in the conference finals. They just couldn't get over the hump because of Jordan. So hopefully, the Jazz wore purple. We wear purple. It's a lot of direct connections, but I'm just hoping that we figure it out and get over the hump and get us a championship. We got two. We need another one to add to the trophy case. But this draft coming up here in April is going to go a long way into deciding if we can get back or not. So um, we got this mock draft coming up here, and I'm excited. Um, I'm sure Jay's got some significant specific insight after being at the Senior Bowl, seeing some of these guys up close and personal. So real quick, Jay, give me three guys who stood out the most to you this week.
Well, that is an easy three for me. Of course, there's Quinyon Mitchell, one of the best cornerbacks in this class. He has established himself into that top 5 guys who each have a case in their own right to be cornerback one in this class. He has silenced one of the very few doubts about his profile in just terms of the level of competition in Toledo. He went up against the best and he dominated against the best. I'm very excited to see how he's going to test because he's going to test very well in Indy by all indications. So, that's going to be really fun to watch. His rise. Another one, Tavondre Sweat. He was just brutal and he was doing it with basically one hand time behind his back throughout the entire week because he was not using his bull rush move for most of the week. He was using a bunch of different other ones because everyone knows he's got the bull rush with power to spare. He was just showing off a little bit with everything else. And it was still kicking into your offensive linemen's butts all throughout the practices. Very impressive. And of course, probably the biggest riser of the week was Ryan Flournoy, a small school wide receiver out of Southeastern Missouri State University. He was looking very smooth, highly athletic, was beating almost every single coverage and every single corner that matched up against him. He had very few losing reps. It was just very impressive to see. He definitely entered the day 2 conversation from a guy who a lot of people probably didn't have rated highly at all.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, those are a lot of guys that I noticed as well. I would say Latu, man. Listen, we all talked about how the biggest issue for him is the medicals, right? As long as the medicals check out because of that, he medically retired a few years ago. If that checks out, man, this kid is a bona fide first round pick. And I do think he has a chance to be the first edge rusher off the board. So props to him. Quinyon Mitchell. Oh my gosh. Hey, it's too bad that the name Spider Mitchell is already taken because this kid was just all over the field, everywhere. It was everywhere, bro. Lockstep with every wide. Whoever you thought was the best receiver at the Senior Bowl, he was locking them down, bro. He was unbelievable. Whose stock would you say is down after the Senior Bowl week, after practice? Is there anybody whose arrow is not pointing up after this week?
I would say Xavier Legette had a very rough day one with his measurement coming in at 6'1" instead of 6'3", and he did not have a good first day of practice, but he definitely bounced back when the pads came on. So I think his stock kind of fluctuated a little bit from this, and a few of those offensive linemen that Tavondre, Darius Robinson, Latu, all them who were going up against a few offensive linemen just had some embarrassing moments at times, but no one who, you really, really put too highly to really say, okay, they're just like dropping out of round one, So I'd say Nix was probably the biggest loser of it just because there were some really big issues with some of his accuracy at times. He had a few really nice throws, but it was just so inconsistent that, man, for a guy who's trying to fight for that QB4 spot right now and round one conversation, the Senior Bowl did not do him many favors.
What would you say about the wide receiver from Georgia, McConk?
Ooh, lad was killing
Lad
it.
McConkey? Yeah.
What a lad. He was a very, very effective.
What a lad. What a lad he is.
What a lad. Oh, he was just so quick in and out of his breaks. Very few corners could keep up with him. Like Quinyon was maybe one of the only few who could. And even then, Ladd might have beaten him on like one play. Like Ladd was very, very effective against almost every single corner he went up against. It was very impressive for him. But anyways, I am excited to get into this.
A guy that stood out to me was a guy who was right in Javon's backyard. Yeah, it's a guy that's right in Javon's backyard that was really I think his name is Javon Foster, right? Man, he was unbelievable. From Missouri,
Javon Morgan?
tackle.
Javon Foster, the tackle. Yeah, he was great.
Attack. Yeah, Javon Foster. Yeah, from Missouri. Yeah, he was strong at the point of attack, very physical, did not get blown off the ball. He is a rising star in this draft, and I think somebody's gonna. This is a really good year for offensive linemen. If you need O line, this is a really good year for it.
Yeah, the trio of Missouri guys just
All
did
right, let's get it
phenomenally.
started.
Oof.
All right, let's get it started. So, the Chicago Bears are on the clock with the first overall pick. I have all the teams in the North, so that would be me. And listen, shout out to my boy. Shout out to my boy Brandon, who's a huge Bears fan. Huge Bears fan. He texted me this morning a few podcasts and things he's been looking at about Caleb Williams, and it's looking more and more clear as the time goes on, as we get into this pre-draft process, that Caleb Williams is going to be the guy, and as well as he should be. I mean, I told my boy, I said, look, if y'all draft Caleb Williams, I'm going to watch more Bears games next year because the games will be that much more interesting. I just think he is a much better, like he's a better passer than Justin Fields. He is, while he's not quite as fast as Justin Fields, he's every bit creative in the run game. If you need him to scramble or run for a first down, he's definitely capable of doing that. And they just have the infrastructure now to be able to build around him, unlike they did when they took Fields. I've said it before. I think when they took Fields, they kind of like they didn't have a plan. They just took him because he was there, and they tried to make it work on the fly, but it didn't work. They got 2 top 10 picks, bunch of cap space, and this is going to be a great year. So with the first overall pick, the Chicago Bears select all right. What do you guys think about that first pick?
Yeah, that is a very good pick. That's the same pick I'd make for them. They definitely are going to be looking to trade Fields and probably get some day 2 draft capital. We'd go into that trade if we could, but honestly, like we're not going to go into round 2 right now, so we're not going to go through those trade scenarios, but they'll get some round 2 capital for him. Fields, you got to feel for him, put in a terrible situation the first 2 years, but with Caleb Williams, it resets their rookie pay scale, like timeline, because he'll have a full 4-year rookie contract plus the 5th-year option, and the GMs and head coach will now be able to draft their own guy because they inherited Fields. So yeah, it just makes more sense for them to do that rather than keep Fields.
Like I said, the longer this keeps going on, like the longer we get into the deeper we get into the offseason, it just feels like Caleb. It just feels like the Bears just can't not draft Caleb. I also like the OC that they brought in from Seattle. I like that move as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Javon, what you think? Number 1 overall pick, Caleb Williams to the Chicago Bears.
Look, I understand that it might happen. But man, I think we still got questions to be answered. If those rumors are popping up again that he does not want to go to Chicago. So I mean, could we have another Eli Manning situation?
Did you see what's his name? What's the guy name? I think is he on ESPN or Fox Sports 1? I think he's on Fox.
Okay, kind of debunked it.
What's his name? Huh?
He debunked kind of those rumors or something.
No. Yeah, he said, what's his name? Colin Cowherd. He said that he was saying something about Caleb not wanting to go to Chicago, and he said Caleb's representatives called him and said that's not true. They definitely like the idea of Chicago. They see a potential for Chicago to be next year's Houston Texans. How they was able to go from worst to first because they do have a lot of capital. They do have a lot of draft cap space, and Caleb it's a big city. So basically, Caleb Williams people called Colin Cowherd to basically clear up that there's no truth to them not wanting to go to Chicago. And then And then Caleb Williams posted on Instagram a picture of him when he was a kid holding a bear. So,
I mean, if I definitely think it's time to move on from Justin Fields. I mean, that's just an experiment that's not working. So
yeah,
I mean, if they believe Caleb Williams is the best choice out there, then go for it.
yeah,
To me, the you know how I feel about Caleb Williams. I'm waiting to see how it goes. You know,
yeah.
they've been trying to search for the next Patrick Mahomes in every draft, and I
Right.
mean they've yet to find it. And so I just think sometimes we put too much or too
But I
big
mean,
of
they
a.
always gonna do that.
I know, but I just think sometimes we put too much on the shoulders of these young men coming out of college. And I mean, look at CJ Stroud. Nobody was comparing him to Patrick Mahomes, and look what he did. You know, look how he performed. But did nobody mention him? You know, so
I agree 100%.
you know, I think
I agree 100%.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. So before we move on, Javon, real quick, what's a good landing spot for Justin Fields, you think, in your opinion?
Maybe Tampa. I mean, he needs to go.
They love Baker.
Yeah, but Justin Fields ain't gonna start. Wherever Justin Fields go, he's not starting. He needs to go somewhere where he's behind somebody and can get back to really learning the game.
I don't agree. I think if Jay, what do you think? What do you think, Jay?
I'd say a really good spot for him would be the Falcons. I think we've all seen that connection for a while. Vikings, depending on what they do with Kirk, since he is a free agent, though they might just bring back Kirk, but we'll see on that. Broncos would be interesting, but they still have that Russell Wilson cap hit that they are going to stagger for 2 years because they cannot take an $82 million dead cap hit for this year alone. And Fields is basically on an expiring deal. So you can't give him Fields the 5th-year option because that's going to be expensive on top of paying for Russ. So then you'd have like $60 million at the QB position for Justin Fields and Russ's dead cap hit. So nah, they're not going to do that.
Okay.
But yeah, maybe they could go Steelers, but we'll see.
It's all about the system.
True.
Okay. All right. Well, back on the clock. I have the Commanders and the Dolphins outside of all the North teams, and I'm back on the clock again. And with the number 2 overall pick, this is super easy. Dan Quinn takes over as head coach, and he was with the Falcons. He had Matt Ryan. I think he understands how important it is to have a franchise quarterback. And so, with that being said, the Washington. Really quick,
Hey,
Jay, give me your response to that. Yeah.
Hey, Matt, I just want to say you're buffering a little bit. I might do the screen share instead, just in case, because the stream is kind of breaking up a little bit with you. If that's okay.
Is it still doing that or?
Oh, it's a lot better right now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But
just let me know if it does it again. We'll switch.
Sounds good. But anyways, with Drake May, yeah, honestly, he's the only quarterback that can really say can compete with Caleb Williams for that number 1 spot, because maybe, just maybe, the Bears want to get a quarterback who has a little bit of a quicker release, because Caleb Williams also holds on to the ball for a very long time, even longer than Justin Fields coming out. And what Justin Fields is doing right now. Like, he's been holding the ball crazy long, like 3.5 seconds, basically, which is insane. So maybe if they want a little bit of more of a change stylistically, Drake May is definitely in the mix at that point. But going to the Commanders, I'd say that's a really good spot for him as well. They got some very interesting wide receivers to work with right now, with Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. We'll see if they bring back Curtis Samuel. They definitely need to invest a lot in offensive line, and they need some edges after trading both of them away. But, Dan Quinn is a very, very good defensive coach. I think that they're going to be able to build a really solid defense within the next couple of years. Just got to give it time, and we'll see what happens up front to really help protect May.
Agree. All right. Next up, we got the Patriots. Patriots are on the clock with the number 3 overall pick.
And that's me. I am the Patriots. And
Let's
the
get
Patriots
it.
could go two different ways. They could go either quarterback or they could go for the best player available. Quarterback is, of course, going to be Jaden Daniels if they go that direction. But I'm going to say they go Marvin Harrison Jr., best player available. And it kills me to say Marvin Harrison Jr. is a Patriot. As a Colts fan, I am sick to my stomach if the Patriots do this. I would not be shocked if some fans throw stuff at TVs. Would not shock me one bit. But anyways, Harrison, what else can be said about this guy? He is the best wide receiver prospect we've probably seen since Calvin Johnson, and he's going to a Bill Belichick-less Patriots team. It's a new era in New England. They actually have a good wide receiver for once in their life, and they don't have Belichick to use him. So we'll see how Gerard Mayo does with him, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting. They might go for a quarterback with those alternative things. Like they might go for a Fields. They could possibly go for Kirk in free agency. Maybe they take one of these other quarterbacks later in the draft, like an early round 2, or maybe they just wait a little bit later. We'll see, but I don't know. I think they might be very, very tempted with Harrison at 3 there.
I think it's been yet kind of to tell what May believes in the current quarterback situation. So I think that's going to really play a part. Like, does he show that he really believes in the current quarterback situation? Because if not, I think we're going to see 3 quarterbacks in a row. But like you said, it's the time will tell.
Mm-hmm. It could go either way.
Well, is it safe for all of us to say that since Mac Jones has been in the league, he's never had a receiver of the quality of Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. But to be fair, how many wide receivers out there are the quality of Marvin Harrison Jr. too? But
Right. Or maybe I shouldn't say that, but like he hasn't had any good receivers at all. Would is that fair? Like he hasn't had any really good receivers at all.
he's
I
had
mean, he hasn't.
decent wide receivers at
Right.
times, but no true wide receiver 1. And if there's anything you can say at bare minimum with Marvin Harrison Jr. is that he's a wide receiver 1.
Yep, agreed.
Agreed. All right. Arizona is on the clock.
All right.
The Cardinals, what do they do to support Kyler Murray and get over the hump?
And that's exactly what they got to do. They got to support Kyler Murray at this point. It's a sellout. This is his last chance. And since Harrison Jr. is gone, I don't think they take Malik Neighbors. I think they're actually going to drop down and look at Rome Odunze. And so I think that's where Arizona's going to go. I don't think they're necessarily going to take Neighbors at that spot. They would have loved to have Marvin Harrison Jr. They may even try to trade up to get Marvin Harrison Jr. if the idea is that the Patriots aren't going to take a quarterback. So, they may trade up with the Commanders to get into that spot to get Marvin Harrison Jr. because I think they're in full sellout mode to provide Kyler Murray with the support he needs.
Now, could they be interested in trading back, though? Because I know maybe a team like the Giants could possibly be interested in Jaden Daniels, for example. The Falcons could be interested in Jaden Daniels. Vikings, Broncos, Raiders, all of them need quarterbacks. And you're sitting at a pretty good spot at 4 to take him. I could see them trading back and maybe still being able to get Rome Odunze if they go to like Giants or Falcons, maybe even.
Possibly, but I think some of those other teams like the Falcons or the Giants, they're also looking at who's above them. I mean, Tennessee's not taking a quarterback. The Chargers aren't taking a quarterback. So if that quarterback is there at the Cardinals pick, I mean, more than likely that quarterback's going to be there when they pick.
If they trade back with the Giants, it's only 1 pick. So do they think that the Chargers are going to take Rome Odunze or Malik Neighbors? And then they can, either way, they could still get their guy potentially. And
Which I
Yeah.
mean, when you speak of the Chargers, I don't think the Chargers are going offense. I think the Chargers are going defense. I think they are still chasing the Chiefs, and their whole goal is to try to still beat the Chiefs. And so, honestly, I think the Chargers are going to go defense.
You know
All
what?
right.
I kind of disagree. So is your pick Odunze? Is that the pick?
Yeah.
Okay. So I kind of disagree a little bit. I think they are chasing the Chiefs. But I think it's the focus is going to be to just outscore the Chiefs than to think you're going to stop the Chiefs, right? And
Oh,
if you really look at it, there is really no defensive player that I would probably take in the top 5. I'm gonna be honest. There's no defensive player in this draft that I would take top 5. Not to say it's not a good defensive draft. I just when you talk about Melvin Harrison, Rome Odunze, you got Brock Bowers, the quarterbacks. There's no defensive player I would take over any of those guys. And let's be honest, Hollywood Brown is a free agent. All right. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about the Cardinals, but the Chargers as well. If you think about it, I think Keenan Allen will be
he's just old.
released. Either him or Mike Williams will be released. I think one of them will be released. They need to free up some cap space, and they need to get younger around Herbert. And I think that's going to be the goal for Harbaugh. Is what he wants to get younger around Herbert, more explosive, and guys that can stay healthy because they have talent. A lot of their guys just can't stay healthy. So I think it'll probably be a receiver. But up next is those Chargers that we're talking about, and the Chargers are on the clock.
Yeah, and Matt, God, doggy, man, you give a convincing argument. Considering Harbaugh, and bro, like as you was talking, I actually was thinking, I'm like, man, you're right. Harbaugh coming in,
yeah,
he's gonna be offensive minded with this thing, and then you mentioning, I forgot about their cap situation. They're actually over the cap.
They need to free up cap space, and
right.
Two of the methods that they can do it is by getting rid of talent at edge and wide receiver. Keenan Allen is getting up there. Mike Williams is too injured.
And stayed injured. Exactly. And so, honestly, Matt, you have changed I actually was thinking about it. I was looking at Brock Bowers, just because we know how much Harbaugh loves tight ends. But at the same time, they have an excellent young tight end already. So I don't think they're going tight end. But so with that convincing argument, Matt, Malik Neighbors is where the Chargers are going. If he's
all right. 3 straight wide receivers.
Good pickup. I like
Harrison,
Neighbors.
Rome, Neighbors. Woo. Yeah, Neighbors paired with Justin Herbert.
I like Neighbors' skill set. Yes. I was thinking that Jay, like I like Neighbors' skill set with Herbert because he's an explosive downfield wide receiver, and Herbert is that type of quarterback. Mike Williams has shown some of that, but his injuries, I just think, is too much. And then that's why they drafted Quentin Johnston last year. I think they drafted Quentin Johnston last year to be that explosive guy, but he struggled mightily in his rookie season. So if they can get Quentin Johnston going with Malik Neighbors, I think they got a good young receiving core.
Agreed. And now it is me. I am on the clock as the Actually, no, it's Javon. It's the Giants.
Yeah.
Damn, you went 3 straight.
I just have a bunch of fun over here, they say the Giants need wide receivers. I don't know. I think the Giants, they have some young wide receivers. They traded for a good tight end from the Raiders. So I think time will tell in that category. Do they need a quarterback? I don't know. But do they need somebody to protect the quarterback? Heck yeah. They need somebody to protect their quarterback. Like, it's so many times that their quarterback in the year did not have time. He had no time. And when he actually did have time, I mean, you saw people like, the wide receivers get open. The boy from Tennessee that they got. You saw him get open. You saw him be able to be a threat down the field. So I think that we will see our first offensive lineman go off, and it's actually the next best person on the board, Joe Alt from Notre Dame.
All right, Giants going tackle yet again. Ooh, I know that Titans fans are going to be furious that Alt was taken just before him.
Yep, Joe Alt. What's that cat's name from
All
Tennessee?
right.
That
I
wide
like
receiver.
that pick. I like that pick. Joe Alt feels like a giant. You said a receiver?
The receiver from Tennessee that the Giants drafted last year.
The receiver? They
Oh,
didn't.
Yeah.
Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, Hyatt.
Oh, the
Hyatt. Yeah.
Giants,
I
yeah.
mean, we saw moments where Hyatt was actually able to get down the field. Now his hands were a little unreliable at times, but
Yeah.
I mean, we saw where he was able to stretch the defense and make some big plays. And I just think that, if they give the quarterback time, that may be possible.
All right. Nice. Well, next up is me with the Titans, and they are furious that Alt left the board right before them. But with them going in a new, more pass-heavy direction, I think that Olu Fashanu is the perfect tackle for this direction. He's not the run blocker that Alt is, but he might just be the best pass-blocking offensive tackle in this draft class, and they need that desperately for Will Levis on the left side. They need to upgrade a lot of different spots on their offensive line, but premium, of course, is going to be left tackle. They get Olu Fashanu, who also still has room to grow. He is a young, hungry left tackle who could grow into his body and become an even better run blocker. Oh my gosh, that would be a phenomenal pick for the Titans, and one that I would be upset for my guys to have to try and rust the passer against Olu Fashanu.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. That's a great pick. I like that pick. Olu Fashanu is really good pass blocker, and I think Will Levis has a future in this league. He showed a lot of promise, and so we'll see what Brian Callahan is able to do as a new head coach. And I like the pick. Atlanta is on the clock, the number 8 overall pick. They were number 8 last season. They're number 8 again this season. So, yeah, if you're counting at home, that means they didn't improve at all. They just stayed the same.
Hey, they're consistent. That's what they are. They're the number 8 team
They are
in the draft
consistent.
every year. Let's go. We love
Every
consistency.
year. It's crazy. So they are on the board, and they are a
That's me
potential landing
again.
spot for Justin Fields. And so Jay is just, man, he's picking. All right. So, Jay, you're back up again.
Yep. Well, at this point, I see that between their options of trading for Fields or going for Jaden Daniels, I think they're going to go with Jaden Daniels. I think they trust in, one, their ability to continue to develop him. Two, that insane senior year was phenomenal. They are trusting in the development and tape on him. And also, you get a cheap contract rookie. Like that's the one thing kind of holding Fields' market back is the lack of development, not always because of his own choices or situation, but that combined with only having one real year of him being affordable, if he does actually break out, man, it's a very risky one. So they might as well go Jaden Daniels and roll the dice with him.
I like it. I like it a lot. Like it a lot. They haven't had a dual threat quarterback like that since Michael Vick. And so here comes the Heisman Trophy winner on his way to the A.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm back on the board, and I'm acting today as Ryan Poles for the Chicago Bears. And this felt perfectly. This felt perfectly. I get Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick. I have a bunch of cap space, and now I get the best tight end to come out of the draft in years, and Brock Bowers. They always say a tight end is a young quarterback's best friend, and we get Mr. Brock Bowers to pair with DJ Moore, possibly a free agent wide receiver, maybe T. Higgins, and now you're cooking. You're cooking with grease in Chicago. So Brock Bowers, along with Caleb Williams, 2 generational type pieces to add to that team. All right, we got the Jets.
The Jets. Well, I think we know where they're going. their season started and ended, and a few short plays. And those few short plays, some sad person was running for his life. So I think it's without saying. They're going to take the best offensive lineman that is available at the moment. So Talise Fuega the tackle out of Oregon State, they're going to take the best available out there on the board, and that's where I see them going.
Yeah, I got to talk to Fuaga. This is the first of the Senior Bowl guys who I was able to talk to. Well, actually, just the first Senior Bowl guy off the board. He is a insanely powerful run blocker. He does need a little bit work in pass protection, but he has some flashes. Once he gets his mitts on you, it is over, lights out. He's predominantly more of a right tackle than a left tackle, but he did say that he would be open to kind of switching around, but he would prefer generally to stay where he's at. But still, they need help on both sides of the line, so go for it.
All right. TJ says Brock Bowers and Cole Kmet, two really good tight ends. They could really, run some 12 personnel and really give defenses fits with that.
Mm-hmm. All right. And then, Matt, you're now back on the board.
Next up,
with
we
the
got
Vikings.
the Minnesota Vikings. Yep. All right. Well, man, this is a tough one because everything I think the Vikings will do is predicated on, do they keep Kirk Cousins or do they not keep Kirk Cousins? That is the interesting thing for me because without Kirk Cousins, I think a quarterback is in play here. With the quarterback, with Kirk Cousins, I think another position. I will say this though, I think this team has probably gone as far as Kirk can take them. So with that being said, I'm going to the Minnesota Vikings at pick 11 will select quarterback Michael Penix Jr. from Washington. Hey, what was your impression of Penix this week?
He was very, very impressive. He had some very good accuracy. I think he kind of cemented himself more so in that QB4 discussion. It's kind of between him and JJ McCarthy I'm seeing at this point because Nix just did not impress me very much. JJ, I'm also got some questions on, but to be honest, all four of these guys do have, or all three of those guys do have questions at that 4 spot because Penix, he probably had the most impressive passing performance in this past year, I'd say. But then on top of that, there's the injury concern. But if his medicals check out in Indy, then I would have no problem with him being at 4. No questions about it. It's just that's the big issue. But I think he got some good rapport with these wide receivers in the Senior Bowl, and he was making some really impressive throws. As long as they got a good right tackle to protect his blind side, they'll be good to go. And I think they do with Brian O'Neill. So that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I told everybody I don't think Nix is a first round pick, and I think that kind of was verified at the Senior Bowl, and I just me and Ben had a big debate about whether Bo Nix was a first round pick or not, and I don't see it. He's not only isn't he, even Michael Penix is an older prospect as well, but I just didn't see it. I felt like Bo Nix, his success was more system based than individual talent, and so yeah, I don't see him in the first round. But hey, maybe get in the second, third round, and somebody takes him and he goes to the right system. All right, we have the Denver Broncos at 12.
Yeah, man, I think that pick with Michael Penix really depends on, like you said, maybe just that's a spot for Justin Fields in Minnesota there. So,
yeah,
like I said, we'll see.
Yep, I agree.
All right, Denver Broncos. See, at this point, I don't think there's a quarterback you draft in the first round that's left. I I don't think there's a quarterback of the future. You know what I mean? That you draft in the first round. So I don't really unless the Broncos are going to draft a quarterback to start within a year or two, there's no need to draft them. Wide receiver position, I think I think they'll feel okay where they're at for this year. So I think they go to the defense side of the ball. I think they go to corner. There's some questions there at corner for the Broncos. Uh, I think they will go. They like the Alabama guys, so I don't think they're going to go Kool-Aid McKinstry at cornerback.
All right, Javon keeping it at Kool-Aid as the cornerback one. He was the consensus
Kool-Aid.
cornerback one before this pre-draft process and before this season heading into. There's definitely been a lot of candidates who've been rising up recently, but Kool-Aid is definitely still a really, really solid corner. The only really questions with him is more so athletically. Does he have the same high-end athletic ability that some of these other guys have? But I think he's very much a good enough athlete to keep up with some guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Now I got the
All right.
Raiders as well.
You back
Taking in the AFC West.
Yes, sir.
So this is a tough one because the Raiders really don't have, I would say, a solid guy at quarterback. So do they bring in a quarterback like Bo Nix for competition? Or I think that would be a wasted first round draft pick. I think they need a D-back, honestly. But then again, they have some young guys who really started to shine toward the end of the year. So I mean, it's really, man, the Raiders, they're in a unique spot where they can really go a lot of different directions. A lot of the guys left for defensive guys kind of top of the board, but I think O-line is where they're going to look. I think J.C. Latham from Alabama is the next O-lineman, the tackle to go.
All right, JC. JC is off the board. Now we going to the NFC South with the New Orleans Saints.
All right, and the Saints, this is going to be an interesting one because they are also a team that could possibly use a quarterback, is what they're saying on PFF. But honestly, I don't think they're going to go in that direction because they kind of have a sunk cost with Carr at this point, and that contract is going to be tough to move. So I think they're more likely going to go tackle or defensive line, and I think they go defensive line with Jerzon Newton, the defensive tackle, top interior rated guy, still on the board. Yeah, I think they definitely need to continue to retool that defensive line because
I like that.
It's
That's
such an old team, but that's going to be a really, really nice one for them.
Yeah.
And then
that's a good pick. That's a really
we
good
got
pick.
The shoe.
The Colts are on the board at 15.
Such a
Guys,
horrible saying.
Did you notice how he
For the
smiled
shoe.
when the coach came up? Did y'all notice that?
Now, are we doing trades in this draft?
No.
No trades whatsoever.
No, that's not.
I'm just going to say this.
Not
If
now.
the board fell like this, they'd be very tempted to trade back.
Yeah.
I'm between 4 different guys right here. It's between Latu, depending on his medicals, he could definitely be in play. Until then, Dallas Turner is my top-rated edge on the board. There's Nate Wiggins. Nate Wiggins and Cooper DeJean also are 2 of my favorite corners in this class. And Quinyon was just phenomenal in the Senior Bowl. And I think it is a very strong case to be made for him as a scheme fit for the Colts. But I'm going to go with Dallas Turner. For now, edge rusher 1. I think he will be the best athlete at the combine, and Ballard loves athletes. I think he's going to be the best athlete of the edges, I should say. But he is going to be testing like a freak of nature, and he was a very, very strong pass rusher this year, highly productive at Alabama of all places. Yeah, like I know we talked about. I'm spacing on who was the Texans Alabama guy last year? Shoot.
Oh, Will Anderson.
Oh,
Will Anderson Jr. Anderson saying that Dallas Turner is a better athlete than him at the edge rusher position, which is insane to think about.
Yeah, he's a dog. He's a dog for sure.
So I'm gonna go.
Right. Well,
Turner to pit against him. And then,
all right, we're gonna go to former Ravens defensive coordinator Mike McDonald is now on the
He beat me to it, man. He beat me to it. He beat me to it. Man, why you ain't let me put the salt in the wound? I wanted to put the salt in the wound, man.
Yeah. Well, go ahead then.
Man, I was gonna say, this one's easy. You look at what Mike McDonald did in Baltimore with that defense. I mean, he's going Latu. If Latu drops this far in the board, Mike McDonald, is that his name? Mike McDonald, right? That's where he's going, man. He is going there, rocking his new Seattle Seahawks gear. They're gonna show him in the draft room, clapping hands. After he told Trippy he wasn't going nowhere, had Ravens flock all excited. He's going to be enjoying his first draft as a head coach, drafting Latu.
Yeah, I'm surprised Latu fell this far. Like, honestly, I had him as a pretty likely going to be going in that like top 13, 14 range. Like,
that's still if Mike McDonald can get his hands on a kid like Latu, that defense is going to be scary in Seattle because they already got a lot of pieces. They already got a lot of pieces, especially in the secondary. Y'all forgot they made a mid-season trade for Williams from the Giants. They got some stuff out there in Seattle, man. That's going to be a good team. All right. AFC South, Jacksonville Jaguars.
The formerly 1 win away from 1 seed Jaguars are going to select because they need quite a bit. They need some DB help. They need a little bit more edge rush, pass rush. They could use an interior offensive lineman, but is there really one that they would absolutely fall in love for? I'd say their top priority right now is making sure Trevor Lawrence is as good as can be. And so I think they're going to surprise people by taking Jackson Powers Johnson at 17. The best center in this class, and I was highly impressed with him at the Senior Bowl. I would not be shocked if he got as high as this. This is definitely in like the top end, like him in Seattle, like Seahawks and Jaguars are like kind of like the beginning of where I'd say his range is going to be in this draft. But man, that would be a very, very good pick for them to really invest in protecting in Trevor Lawrence up front.
I love Jackson Powers Johnson. Love him. I loved him before the Senior Bowl. Love him even more after the Senior Bowl. And I told people, hey, he's the best center in this draft, and it's not even close. He's a first-round pick, and I love this pick. Love this pick. Center is a very underrated but very important position.
You got to have that communication up front, and he's the leader of a very strong offensive line. Uh-oh. Poor Steelers Nation. I'm sorry, guys.
But that's what's so interesting about this.
They wanted.
Well, yeah, it's so interesting about this is because, like, we ain't doing no trades. And I think there's going to be more movement than we think in this draft. Like, especially as you see, like, some of those quarterbacks and wide receivers come off, there's going to be some movement for some players in this draft for sure.
Listen, TJ, I know you're in the chat and you're like, damn, you just crushed Steelers Nation. If we had trades turned on, I'd see if the Steelers were interested in trading up to try and get Jackson Powers Johnson at 15 with the Colts. The Colts would be willing to trade back. they'd still be able to get one of their guys that they really, really like between Turner, Latu, Cooper DeJean, Wiggins, Quinion, Verse, like Terrion Arnold. So many guys that they could take at 20. They'd feel confident about getting at least one of them. You guys get your center. Win-win. Let's make a deal, baby. But we're not doing trades in this one, so not happening. But we'll see what happens on draft night.
All right. The North remembers. The AFC North is up. Cincinnati Bengals. Listen. Joe Burrow cannot miss another season with an injury. He can't. You have to protect the franchise. It is imperative that you protect the franchise. Because I don't care if you got Jerry Rice and Megatron in their prime, if number 9 is on his back or getting hit repeatedly, you guys aren't going very far. So with the 18th overall pick, the Cincinnati Bengals select Jordan Morgan, tackle, Arizona.
Nice. Good pick. Good pick. I like that these teams are investing in their offensive lines early in this draft class because last year was the worst year that I've seen in almost a decade of watching football for offensive line and pass protection. We saw so many quarterbacks get injured, so many like backups have to come in, and so many defenses just feast on these offensive lines and backup quarterbacks. And this is the perfect draft to kind of address that. We're going a lot of offensive line heavy, and I'm really appreciating that.
Yeah, man. I said it earlier. This is the draft to get healthy on the line. If you're a team that needs offensive linemen, this is a great draft to do it. And we're seeing it so far in this mock draft. All right, so back to the West. The best of the West, LA Rams.
Look, there's no secret that the games are won and lost in the trenches, and your boy ain't getting no younger in the middle there in the Rams. So I think they go edge. I think they go Florida State, Jared Verse, the next best available edge on the board. I think they're going to start to work on that D line there in LA.
Man, Verse and Aaron Donald would be a nasty, powerful combo.
That's the Verse going to LA.
They have a good young edges as well, like that they got last year. That defense line rotation is going to be insane.
Yeah. All right. North. We back on the board, man. Pittsburgh Steelers Nation. What's up, man? How y'all doing? Hey, look, I'm gonna take care of y'all. The board fell perfectly for you guys, right? Yeah, JPJ got picked, and I know you guys love your centers. As long as I've been watching football, the Steelers have always had a great center. He's gone, but in my opinion, and I would hate this as a Ravens fan, but in my opinion, the best corner in the draft is still on the board, and the Pittsburgh Steelers will select Nate Wiggins, corner, Clemson. I mean, you pair him with Joey Porter Jr. and good luck. Good luck trying to throw the ball on that tandem. That's a really good tandem.
I mean, that's a good pick. As soon as I saw that Wiggins was still on the board at 20, yeah, I knew it was definitely going to be Wiggins, knowing you, Matt. Absolutely know that you are a diehard Wiggins.
You know truther. I love Wiggins, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Matt. Why you got to do
that? Brett, he made a good pick in his mind for you. He was not trying to sabotage y'all. He made a good pick in his mind because he's been consistent. He said
no. Brett is a Ravens fan.
Brett's a Ravens fan. I thought we were for a second. I thought it was TJ, but damn.
Brett is a Ravens fan. He's saying why you got to do that. Yeah, why you? Yeah, no, he was saying why you got to help the Steelers out. I helped them
Listen,
out. So.
We got to
be realistic.
I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to sabotage.
Yeah, if we were being biased, we'd be picking punters every single pick. You know, come on.
All
That's
right,
crazy.
I'm back
Punter going the first round.
on the
Gee.
board with the Miami
Put 'em up.
Dolphins, and honestly, so look, the Dolphins are a very interesting team. Very interesting. When I look at the team, I just see a lot of different things like that they need help with. They need some help on the O line, really bad. They need some help in the secondary because when like Jalen Ramsey went out, they kind of struggled a little bit. Xavier Howard, I don't think is going to be there next year. He may be a cap casualty. Uh, and listen, they can score a lot of points, but they got to stop people. They got to be able to cover people. But also want to get them an offensive lineman. But I think they could wait. I think the second round is still going to be really good fertile ground for offensive linemen. So right now, you just take the best DB on the board, and with the 21st pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Terrion Arnold, cornerback from Alabama.
Roll Tide, baby. Another one goes.
Mm-hmm. But now we got the Eagles. They regressed hard from being in the Super Bowl to being out within their first round. And so now we're looking at them and we're like, could AJ Brown be on the move? Could they really try and rebuild that defense that absolutely collapsed at the end of the season? And I think they're going to go and pair Darius Slay, because Slay was not the problem in that secondary. He was not at all. They're going to pair him with a cornerback who I talked to at the Senior Bowl, who said one of the cornerbacks that he models his game after is Slay himself. He would love to play with him and be mentored by him. And that's Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback out of Toledo, rocketing up.
I was wondering when he was going to go. Man, I'm interested to see what happens after Combine with him.
I love Quinyon Mitchell, man.
Yeah,
his draft stock has already risen. I think it's going to rise even more.
He could go as high as like 15 potentially to the Colts. I would not be shocked right there.
Yeah.
He might go ahead of Wiggins even. Also wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah, he feels like a Eagles type of pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's on you, Jay, man. Keep it moving in the South.
Mm-hmm. Next
up, your divisional winners.
Yep, the divisional winners by one dropped pass by our fourth string running back, thrown by our backup quarterback at near the goal line. All we needed is that 1 yard. He catches that, we got it. But whatever. That's in the past. We did pretty good, I will say, from being a 4.5 win team to a 9 win. We're on the up and up. Anyways, the Texans, they need another wide receiver to pair with Nico Collins. They need something, and Tank Dell, of course. They just need one more to really cement that wide receiver core and give CJ Stroud an insane assortment of weapons. And I think one of the best fits for them, that is going to be Brian Thomas Jr. out of LSU. Whew, that would be a very, very fun combo to watch. Not as much fun for me as a Colts fan, but they're going to do very well together.
We're going to hear the same story.
I like that.
One drop pass by a backup quarterback. Just keep the strings going.
I mean, hey, I was satisfied with a 9-win season. I said the range was going to be 7 to 9 wins, and that was with a healthy Anthony Richardson. To get 9 wins with Minshew, I will take that. Can he
stay healthy? Can he stay healthy, or will injuries plague him?
Yeah, I think injuries are more luck-based than anything, or lack thereof.
Oh, Cowboys on the clock, aren't they? America's team, I guess, is what they like to call themselves.
Allegedly.
They like to stay in that whole cycle of of life. Now they're in the Super Bowl stage. They've already said they're going to the Super Bowl next year, So
every year.
I should have inquired from Ace what she would like to do. Shout out to Ace with the Cowboys pick here. Because if it was up to me, the Cowboys just need to get a quarterback, but there's none out there for them. But I digress. I don't think they need. Man, they need a running back, but I don't think there's a running back that's worth drafting in the first round. So I think they will go defense. I think they go edge rusher and Braylon Trice, the best available one out there from Washington.
Nice. Another great athlete, very high effort guy. That's going to be an interesting to watch.
And the Cowboys have been prone to really kind of go what's best available on the board. That's kind of been their MO. Like years where you think like, man, they should have drafted somebody else. They tend to always take what's best out there.
All right, Matt, you're on the board with the Packers.
Man, so look, the Packers are really good, really exciting young team. I like what I've seen from those guys. Man, they gave the 49ers the scare of the century. I thought they had them. And that team is going to be legit. That team is going to be for real in the next couple of years. And to me, they got some issues. They got to decide what they're going to do with Jair Alexander. So with that being said, man, the Green Bay Packers select Cooper DeJean, one of the best athletes in this entire draft. You put him out there. He's used to playing in that, just secluded country. Like, he's from Iowa. He gets to go to Wisconsin and, that Big Ten country and go out there and just kind of just be a baller, man. He just reminds me of like those old Green Bay Packers from back in the day. Don Beebe. You guys remember Don Beebe? Just guys like that don't have big names, but they have big games and they show up in big moments. And Cooper DeJean to the Green Bay Packers is the pick for me. Oh, look at this.
Yeah, that's a fun one because if DeJean...
Look at this.
Listen, I don't think DeJean is going to be falling all the way down there. I'm sorry, Brian. I'd love for you to buy us a drink. But damn, that would be a very, very fun pick, especially since if he is a safety, if you line him up as that, I'd say he's the top safety in the draft. If you put him at corner, he's a good bet for, top 4 or 5 in this draft class with a shot at being the first overall one taken. He's in that group of 5 that I'd say. But yeah, he is very, very good. Damn, that would be very interesting. Do you think the Eagles would be dumb to take a backup cornerback? Man, that would be a starter cornerback.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't know if you got to go check out Quinyon Mitchell, man. He is a dog.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like, I wouldn't call him a backup. I wouldn't call him a backup at all.
Yeah.
All right. Brian said, I agree. I was thinking if he dropped to 20, got my trade up. Would love to see him as our nickel. Yeah, he would be. Oh, man, that would just make that defense so it make them that much more versatile and they can, the NFL is kind of going to that positionless football, and he would just be able to just be everywhere. Nickel, safety, corner. You could just put him wherever, and he's a hell of a punt returner.
Well, we don't want him to be a punt returner. We want him to be a starter.
No. He can do everything. He's just an all-around athlete. All right, back to the South. Jay, Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm. Tampa Bay is an interesting one because a lot of their needs doesn't really line up with the board. There's not really a running back that you'd take at 26. There's not a tight end you'd take. There are a few guys that you can maybe say, you know what, I'll put them in the interior. But that's a little bit more of a projection for some of these guys who are college tackles going to interior. But if I had to say one guy who I think can make that switch and be very, very good at that, I'm going to go with, and Matt's going to hate me for taking him. He is. I just know it. Troy Fontenot. He's going to hate me. I know it. But it is what it is.
He's just been grinding his teeth the whole time. Just wanting him to drop.
I love Troy Fontenot.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, buddy, but
Just
gotta
hoping,
go with the
please.
board.
Just like,
They need it.
please, please, please. There he is.
And now we back again in the South. The Cardinals are on the board,
Cardinals on
and
the clock.
you know what? They got this
they
pick
went-
from Houston.
Yeah, they went wide receiver. Earlier, but I think they're gonna go to the O line. And I mean, you gotta look. You provide the wide receiver. Now you gotta give him some time to throw the ball. So, Amarius Mims, the best tackle available out of Georgia. That's where I got them taking.
Yeah, he had very little snaps in college, very little starting experience, but he is just such
That's
a
a great pick.
insane
I
athlete.
like his upside a lot.
If he
Yeah.
develops, that is going to be a very, very fun offense with him, Kyler, and Rome. Woo. Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
And now I got assigned with the Bills. They are on the clock. Ooh. There's a lot of different directions they could go. They could go wide receiver. They could go tackle. There's one guy on the defensive interior that I could see them really, really liking. They could even go corner. There's a few corners that might be interesting to them at this stage, but I'm going to go with my board. I am going to put as their man. This is tough on my board as well, but you know what, Matt? Again, this is going to be another hate me pick. This is going to be another hate me pick. I know it. Keon Coleman, you're a Buffalo Bill.
Oh no!
Man, you pair Josh Allen with Keon Coleman, man.
I don't know. I thought
he was going to go Troy
Franklin.
I thought that too. I thought he was going Troy Franklin. I really thought he was going Troy Franklin.
I thought he was going Troy
considering
Franklin.
it.
I was like, oh no, he went. I like Keon. Although he's a big body receiver, I like him a lot. Wow. All right. Well, I'm back on the board now with the Lions. And just like my Ravens, man, they fell one game short of the Super Bowl. And now you get to pick at the bottom of the first round and see what you can do. The Lions need a few things. They need some interior offensive linemen. They need some interior D linemen. They need a corner. I think Dan Campbell's going to want to boost up the trenches. I know corner is also high priority as well. But I think the best player left right now for what they need is Byron Murphy, the second interior defensive lineman. He can play on the edge as well. From Texas, he is a load, man, and he will help that D line out a lot. Help continue to build and help with Hutchinson and those boys, and they're gonna go hunt. And I can see Detroit back in this situation again next year where they're competing for a Super Bowl.
Yeah, especially since they got Ben Johnson returning as their OC. That it was a huge bit of news that dropped during the Senior Bowl. Man,
Absolutely.
they can just build up that defense. It's going to be very, very tough to stop them next year.
Absolutely. All right, so
my
my Baltimore Ravens, still proud of them, still love them.
The runner-ups.
Shut up. Hey, we're making progress. We're getting closer every year, okay? We're getting closer. Hopefully next year we get to the promised land, man. But anyway, my Baltimore Ravens, still love my guys, still proud of my guys. Man, shut up. Y'all won by 7. All right. And it's because we decided to run the ball 6 times.
That's because we decided to play the clock.
It's very clear that Todd Monken likes to throw the ball, right? So if you like to throw the ball, Todd Monken, why not give him some receivers to throw to? OBJ's a free agent. Nelson Aguilar's a free agent. Even though EDC said today one of them could come back next year, You got Bateman coming back. Zay Flowers, I think he's gonna allow that fumble to motivate him all off season, and we're gonna add to that with the speed demon 6'3", 4'3" from Oregon, Troy Franklin. Welcome to the flock, Troy. Welcome to the flock. Thank you, Brett. Brett says easy pick. Easy pick.
Easy.
I really thought about an offensive lineman here, but you guys picked through the offensive line. Like I'm talking about, if this happens, then yeah, you got to run the Troy Franklin pick up there.
Yeah, Troy Franklin is a phenomenal deep threat, very, very fast with good size too at 6'3". But the problem is the man is just very, very lanky and he struggles against the press, which I think that's going to be a little bit of concern with some of these moves that, like, for example, the Steelers have made at their cornerback group right now. That could be a little bit of a tough assignment for him. But hey, if he gets a little bit of daylight, he can make you really regret it.
Yeah, I mean, those Chiefs cornerbacks, they love to press as well.
But the interesting thing about him is that he can play in the slot as well. Like he played in the slot as well as outside. And you have Bateman, you got Zay Flowers. You could put both of those guys at the X and the Z. So you could just easily put Troy in the slot, and that way he's getting free releases. And a dude who can run a legit 4-3, you don't want him getting a free release because it's good night. If he leaving.
Well, that's why we'll just have Snead put him in the ground like we did Tyreek Hill,
All right, Javon, the projected
horrible
NFL runner-ups.
This is ridiculous. This is blasphemy. This is just.
Well, listen.
Foreshadowing.
How about this? Let's project a trade of them swapping picks, 31 and 32, just to make you satisfied in life. We all
know what the Chiefs need, right? The situation with Chris Jones is up in the air. The wide receiver play was not that good this year. And as much as I would love the Chiefs to go after a 6'3", 6'4" guy, it's just not Andy Reid. We look at the history of what Reid has done. He doesn't go for that tall receiver. But one thing that we talked about all year with the Chiefs wide receivers is that they couldn't get separation. Well, somebody has popped up on the scene and has started to get separation from every corner that you could imagine. And
I hear he's a pretty fun lad.
Oh, yes, he is. Lad McConkey out of Georgia, baby. Welcome to Kansas City. Welcome to the first three-peat in history of the NFL.
What a lad. Wait, the first three-peat in the history of the NFL?
You heard me correctly.
Is that true?
What a lad. What a lad he is.
No team is three-peated. I don't think any team is three-peated.
I feel like some teams three-peated back in the day.
I thought the Cowboys didn't three-peat in the 90s.
Yeah, and didn't the Steelers back in the day in the 70s?
Oh, yeah, the Steelers probably did back in the day. Yeah, Steelers probably.
Yeah. It's definitely the first time that's happened probably in the last 20 years.
No team in the Super Bowl era has three-peated, technically.
Technically?
Yeah, it said the Green Bay Packers won the last NFL championship game in 1965 and the first two Super Bowls.
Yeah.
So in the Super Bowl era, no team has three-peated.
Man, listen, I just want to say this about.
Don't take away history from Patrick Mahomes and them boys.
I want to say this about this pick though. Lad McConkey would be excellent. McConkey would be excellent in that Chiefs offense.
He fits Reid's system.
He's what I call a route god, right? He's a route god, bro. He routes people up. He gets open, gets separation. He has really good hands. He could be like another Cooper Kupp type of receiver. And Lord, that's the last thing Mahomes need is a guy who could just get open, right? Who just get open so easy. Lad McConkey, he's shooting up boards because of what he's done so far as Senior Bowl weekend. So, hell of a pick. Troy Franklin. The two AFC runner, two teams in the last teams in the AFC go wide receiver. So it looks like it's an arms race in the AFC, trying to, who can outdo who. And man, the Chiefs get better.
And the thing about it, Matt, is the way that McConkey is trending, he won't be there at 31. Like that's the thing about it. I don't think he's going to be there at 31. But in this scenario of no trades, where we currently sit, the fact that he's there, I mean, that's just a perfect pick for the Chiefs.
I mean, I was tempted to take him at 28, ahead of Coleman, ahead of Franklin. He's definitely been showing out. Like, it all depends on what these teams want in their wide receivers. Like,
Yeah. I
that's
thought
what it
about
comes down to at
McConkey
this point.
because of the Todd Monken connection. He played for Todd Monken for 2 years down there at Georgia.
In
So
Georgia.
I thought about it, but we got guys similar to him, right? Route runners. Bateman is a really good route runner.
Mhm.
Zay Flowers. We need separation. We need speed. We need somebody that could take that top off, and we need some size. So Troy made
Yeah.
sense.
He needed the field structure and the size, so Keon Coleman would be a perfect fit if only he's
Oh,
available.
he would be perfect. Yeah, you killed me when you took Keon, man. That was crazy.
And now we get to the last pick in the first round for the
San
projected
Francisco.
Super Bowl winners, 49ers.
Blasphemy. The blasphemy. Look, I think this is going to be a no-brainer for the 49ers. They're going to go defense and they're going to go cornerback. Because as much as we like to consider the 49ers, I think the defense is really where they're weak at. So I don't think they're going to go to Missouri, guy. Missouri, I think they're going to go more that SEC. So I'm going to say Kamari Lassiter from Georgia.
Yeah, that's these three right here, like Kamari,
I like
Drake
that pick.
Straw, and TJ Champa are kind of in the same tier for me. They all are going to be very, very interesting to see if they can sneak into the first round. But yeah, good pick right there with Kamari. All right, and there we go. We got our whole entire first round taken care of. Let us know how you think about this. Was there any picks that you were not agreeing with? Is there any picks you absolutely loved and thought this is the match made in heaven? Thank you, Draft Nerds, for taking this guy and putting him on my team. Oh my gosh, we're gonna win the Super Bowl because of this guy. We'll see. But let us know in the comments. Subscribe.
Yeah, what's your
share.
takes, guys? What's your biggest takeaway from this?
Man, I mean the way the board really fell is interesting. But I think, like I said, I kind of said it earlier. I don't think the board will look anything like this because
Yeah,
I think we're going to see so many trades. I think there's at least 4 trades in the first round draft.
yeah.
night.
There's gonna be a lot more.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot more movement, and
Mhm.
so it's just going to be real interesting to see what happens on draft night.
Yeah, it's gonna be
All right, Brett
interesting.
says, love the early wide receiver run. Could definitely happen.
Yeah, 3 wide
Yeah.
receivers off in the first 5 picks. That is a possibility for sure. Could there be a tackle taken instead
For
at one of
sure.
those picks? Very likely. Could there be a trade up for a quarterback or just a quarterback taken in one of those picks? Also true. But yeah, there was a run on them. There was Alton Fashanu back to back. There's a little bit of a run on edges a little bit with Turner, Latu, and then Verse shortly after. Wiggins, Terrion, and Quinion all went back to back to back, kind of mirroring almost the 4 back-to-back wide receivers last year in that 20 to 23 range. But this time in like 20 to 22.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah,
Dijon
absolutely,
following
absolutely.
all the way to 25 is very surprising.
Yeah. But we see it every year, though. Like, we see every year where a really talented player falls for whatever reason. And it's not any fault of his own. It's just like it just kind of falls that way. People are zeroing in and focusing on specific positions, and sometimes a certain player gets caught up in that. I know Cooper did suffer an injury last season. He should be good to go. This will be interesting, man. You know, led McConkey to the Chiefs. Again, his stock is rising. It'd be interesting to see how fast he runs in the 40 at the combine. So that'd be interesting. I would say guys like Troy Fontenot, even though I love him for the Ravens, I think it's a solid pick for the Buccaneers. Brock Bowers to the Bears. Tali Fuanga feels like a natural. It feels like a slam dunk for the Jets. It feels like you could just go ahead and send him his Jets jersey right now because it feels like that's inevitable. Right? That feels inevitable that he will be a Jet. Penix, we'll see. Like I said, what Minnesota does will be highly predicated on what they do with Kirk Cousins. Receivers. That's one of the biggest takeaways. Receivers early, receivers late, right? Like you said, we had a run on receivers early in the draft, and then if you look at the end of the draft, you got Keon Coleman, you got Troy Franklin, you got Ladd McConkey. So the draft opens with receivers and closes with receivers. It's a really good receiving class, and then there's another load of guys in day 2 that I think teams are going to like as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a very fun wide receiver class to break down. If we start going into bigger drafts as well, we might do some 2-3 round drafts. Probably a little bit quicker though, less explanation on these guys and more just rapid fire. But or we'll just do targeted ones with team by team, doing those first like 3 rounds and see how those end up. It's going to be very fun to watch this entire pre-draft process. It is going to be very, very fun.
He asked for your social. What's your social?
My social? Depends on what you're asking. If you're talking
494.
if you're trying to ask for one, my social media, I can give you that. No problem about it.
I think you're talking about social media.
That's at Robbins Lucas on Twitter, and it's VJ Robbins.
Yeah, you got to be
on
specific. You can't just say what's your social.
But if you're asking me about my social security number, listen, with this beard, you might think that I'm a pretty old guy, so I'll just say that my number is 1.
Yeah, I think he meant social media.
Yeah, but you guys can follow me.
But he did just say
Twitter
social, so it's like social.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, my Twitter and X is underneath my name right there, but Instagram, DJ Robbins, as well. I post as well on there. Facebook, I'm not using. I don't care about Facebook. Whatever.
Man, I be telling people that all the time. They're like, yeah, I'm like, bro, don't nobody use Facebook no more.
Nah, but what you really need to do is you need to follow me on MySpace.
Facebook is dying, man. I mean, it's still good for like family and regular people, but like if you're into this type of stuff, nah. Right, he said he follows you already.
Hey, welcome to the show then, man. Hey, you never know. Hope you've liked my content then,
I figured he was already following you because he be in my spaces, and then Jay's always in my spaces, so I figured that. But yeah, man, look, Draft Nerds, this is our Dre says F Facebook. Look, man, this is our first mock draft post Senior Bowl, and just stay tuned, stay rocking with us, man. We like Jay said, we're gonna do some 2nd, 3rd round, 3-round mock drafts, and we're gonna go through it, man, and stay locked in with us. We got draft profiles. We're gonna be breaking down prospects individually, talking about what they do best, what their weaknesses are, and what you can expect. And stay locked in with us. We also look for us at the NFL Combine coming up in Indianapolis. We will be there as well. And I'm planning on trying to go to the draft as well. So Detroit, what's up? Trying to pull up. And yeah, man, stay locked in with us. I appreciate it. Brett said he saved this mock to look back at it after the draft. So hopefully we did well. And we'll see. Anything you guys have to say closing out?
Hey, thanks for rocking with us, man. Like I said, just look forward to the content. Keep coming. We got this train rolling, and it's gonna keep rolling. So, love working with these guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate the support as well on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Just keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, hit that like button. Give us a thumbs up. We all really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button. Keep up to date with our content. Follow us on X, Twitter. whatever you want to call it, Instagram, apparently MySpace and Facebook if you want, but we'll see about that. Also, listen to me on Napster, if we're going all the socials.
Napster
This
is
man
crazy.
he got music playing on his profile on MySpace still and everything.
All right. Well, that does it for us, y'all. We'll see y'all next week. And until then, peace.
Peace.